let us get to this. My belief is, ladies and gentlemen, that somebody's wrong about South Carolina. Somebody is dead wrong about the Gamecocks this year. You know, like Brad Crawford is tweeting this. We are saying it, that the North Carolina versus South Carolina game is very likely to be a top 25 game, right? Like that is the expectation. South Carolina is flashing in some top 25 polls this year. They're flashing. So somebody's wrong, though, because according to Kelly Ford at K Ford Ratings, South Carolina is supposed to win 5.7 games. A 5 or 6 win team is not a top 25 team. According to ESPN's Football Power Index, South Carolina is supposed to win 5.5 games. A 5 or 6 win team is not a top 25 team. So I don't know if there's ever been a bigger difference between what the pollsters think of a team and what the computers think of a team. You know what I mean? And somebody is going to be wrong. Now, if you split the difference, right, the pollsters are saying South Carolina is going to be 8-4, and the analytics are saying South Carolina is going to be 5-7 or 6-6. You split the difference there, it might be 7-5, in which case you could say, well, both entities are a little bit wrong, right? Both entities are a little bit wrong. So what do you like? Who is most likely to be right here? You know what I mean? When you consider this team this season, when you consider, the difference in the pollsters and the difference between the analytics, it's something. It really is something else, man. Where this is, how this whole thing is shaping up, and then it's kind of like, it kind of stuns you a little bit, right? When South Carolina selected for College Game Day, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought they're supposed to stink this year. The analytics are telling me they're supposed to stink this year, right? So who's right? Who's wrong? You know what I mean? Like, how are we going to determine who's right and who's wrong? Why could they be right? I think the pollsters could be right if Spencer Rattler and Dowell Loggins click early. The pollsters could be right if Juice Wells is an All-American and if Nick Harbor, as he has the potential to do, is one of the best freshmen in America. So if you have just electricity between Spencer Rattler, Juice Wells, and Nick Harbor, just electricity, two guys out wide, Spencer Rattler under center, that's how South Carolina could be really, really good this year, right? How could the analytics be proven right? Well, the analytics could be proven right, 5-7, 6-6. If the transition from coordinators is not a smooth one, and if the lack of quality play on both lines is really inhibiting. According to Athlon's College Football Preview magazine, South Carolina, out of 14 teams in the SEC, has the 12th ranked offensive line and the 13th ranked defensive line out of 14 teams in the Southeastern Conference. So I can see a way in which the pollsters are right, having them in the top 25, and I can see a way that the analytics are right.
Yeah, I think a big thing is going to be how well can Dowell Loggins rein in Spencer Rattler's mistakes and his penchant to just throw the ball into double coverage. I mean, Spencer Rattler has every bit of confidence in his own ability to make the throws. And yes, he has the athleticism, but his decision-making isn't always there. So what I'm curious to see with South Carolina is Dowell Loggins going to try to force Spencer Rattler into a style of play that he's not necessarily either suited for or that he's not keen personally on playing? Because if quarterback ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But the real question is just, can he allow Spencer Rattler to play free and play creative the way that he tends to play, and at the same time change his mentality and say it's okay to throw the ball away. It's okay to take a 2-yard sack rather than throw it up and see what happens. That's the maturity standpoint that needs to come in for Spencer Rattler. And if he can get that, even with a weak offensive line, as they expect South Carolina to have, a weak offensive line can be a good thing if you've got a really mobile quarterback, if you've got a guy that can get away. That's the whole reason why the veer and the triple option were successful offenses for a while, because they were offenses predicated on not having a good offensive line and being able to be creative and make quick decisions when you had